Okay. In this video, I'd like to talk about pre-attack indicators. So, if we're talking about situational awareness and de-escalation, as we're going through our de-escalation protocols, we're also paying attention for physiological cues that a potential threat is about to become violent. So, what are those cues? Well, just recently at my security job, someone tried to bait me into a sucker punch. So they'll say, "Hey, can I see your watch?" Or, "I can't hear you. Could you come over here?" So that would be one pre-attack indicator if they're trying to bait you into a situation. Another pre-attack indicator would be if they get just really pale and cold, and their face goes white. That's an indicator that someone's potentially past de-escalation and they've made the choice to go to a violent situation, and the blood is being restricted from their limbs and going to their core because they've already decided they're going to engage in a fight response or potentially a flight response in some instances. So there's the turning pale, there's setting you up for a sucker punch, and then there's the old, hey, they shift the weight back, pretend to turn away, load this hand up, and come with a big haymaker. See, and what you'll usually see is it'll usually be this big right hand. You can see it coming a mile away if you learn to look for it. Another indicator would be reaching for a weapon. If they reach in their hand in their pocket, pin their hand to their pocket, and then move into the combative situation, because you don't want whatever they're reaching for to come into play. It's not something you want to mess with. So we start learning, and there are also verbal cues as well. But we start learning to pay attention to that. So if you're having an altercation with someone, they step back and set their weight. Right here, this moment is the moment you can intercept with a strike, or a strike of some kind if we're doing our stun and run tactics. Or if you're in a more professional capacity, you need to apprehend or eliminate the subject. In this instance, that pause is your tell that you need to go forward into the engagement. So let me show you a couple. So I'm going to exaggerate it, but for instance, bam, this moment, or I'm reaching for my knife right here. That's a pre-attack indicator. Or I'm turning around right here. You can see is another body language cue. So we learn to read these, and we get better at it over time. But eventually, if you combine this with situational awareness, where you're aware of your environment, de-escalation question, you have that on autopilot, you can try to talk people down. And then if that doesn't work, then you can give yourself the best chance of coming up on top and legally avoiding any legal considerations if you can articulate that you saw a pre-attack indicator, and that'll keep you safe in the eyes of the law as well. Okay, so I hope that's helpful to some people out there. If you have any questions about retreats, trainings, seminars, consultations, whatever, email me at cfumunberry@gmail.com.